You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
In this episode, we're talking about Tom and Jerry and Wanda and Vision and a whole lot more. It's Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Welcome to Apathetic Enthusiasm, everybody. I am one of your esteemed hosts, Brandon Cruz.
Does that make me also an esteemed host, Travis Menard, or is
if
that...
if I'm one of the esteemed hosts, then it would imply, therefore, that you are the second.
Or another esteemed host is arriving at some point, and I am filling in for them in the meantime.
Da-da-da-dee-da-da-da. I'm second host of the show. I'm esteemed clams. What?
Esteemed?
Esteemed clams.
Esteemed clams.
Yeah,
That's the level of comedy you're getting tonight on Apathetic Enthusiasm. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for watching on YouTube, wherever you are, wherever you're checking out this show. You can follow us all over the social internet, over on Twitter at Apathusiast. I am at Jocomino. He is at Barnyard Cruise, spelled with a Y, because that's how you spell yard. Facebook, facebook.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm Show. Email us your ideas, your topics, your concerns, your stock market advice. apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. Instagram, apathetic_enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. I feel like I'm not saying that word right.
Enthusiasm. Yeah.
Been doing the show for 5 years, guys. apatheticenthusiasm.com is the website. You can watch us live right now, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, over at twitch.tv/apatheticenthusiasm, and catch the show tomorrow, the next day, whenever you want, at youtube.com/apatheticenthusiasm. And you can support us, patreon.com/apatheticenthusiasm.
Right.
That is the links, and this is the show. Brandon, are you drinking milk?
I'm not drinking milk. I'm drinking a refreshing summer beverage.
Ooh.
Vodka tonic. But
don't forget to set those clocks back for spring ahead. Daylight savings time coming up.
That's right.
Time for refreshing summer beverages.
But I also I put a little more vodka than I'm used to in that. So I also have some Polar lemon seltzer to cut some of the risk.
So it's vodka tonic seltzer. Do you have lime in it?
Yeah, there's some lime in it.
All
so
right.
it's getting close to being a Sprite.
it's very close to a Sprite.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
How are things over in your neck of the woods? It looks like you finally moved in.
Yeah, I'm all set. Everything's a lie. This is a green screen. And yeah, I will forever be in this room when we podcast until I decide on where to podcast in the future. I mean, movers are here in 48 hours. My life is insane right now, but it's all good. It's all good. Gonna take some vacay. Gonna move to another state and get all set up. But we're gonna keep bringing you the hits, guys. We're gonna keep bringing you podcasts,
the classics.
the classics.
Gonna bring you our album from 2006, right? That we recorded in the sticks of Oklahoma City. That's where we met. That's where we got our band started. Travis, I saw you. I saw you on the side of the road, and we were just talking to D Squeeze just a couple minutes ago. He buying a house and making a joke about kind of a grifter, right? But I saw you. I met you as you were panhandling. But you were like you had a little can with beans in it, right? It was like the jumping beans. Can you say Mexican jumping beans? You can still
That's problematic.
Okay, well I'm a Cruz. I can say Spanish.
Please, sir. Do you have any podcasts?
And I was like, wait, keep doing that. All right.
Podcasts. More, sir.
And then somebody started honking the horn. And then somehow it turned into Oye Como Va from Santana. And that's when we started our album
Carlos
of covers.
Santana just showed up. And we're
Car-
like, I think we got ourselves a band.
And then we're like, and so our cover band of Santana is Car hyphen Lost Santana. Car Lost Santana.
We had to work Lost into there because it was, it was the height of television at the time. So
yeah, Grifter. D-Squeeze is like, you might be thinking Drifter. No, I'm thinking the same thing, because I mean, what is a panhandler if not a grifter in a certain way, right? They're grifting money from you.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Twitter.com/Appleenthusiast.
It may have been Griffin Dunn, actually, not a grifter, but Griffin Dunn from American Werewolf in London. Okay, anyway.
You're not thinking of the Hogwarts house.
No. Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great band as well.
Yeah, the Gryffindors.
Jim Morrison.
I'm not steeped enough in Harry Potter lore to come up with a quick Jim Morrison pun that would work with Harry Potter, but give me to the end of the show. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if I can break focus enough. Yeah. So we have topics, right? We have topics to talk about. Do we want to cover the main ones or the listener suggested ones?
Let's start with the listener suggested ones. Let's get those. Let's get those.
This show's about you. This show's about the people. We bring it to you, so we value your feedback.
And that way, if people don't want to get spoiled with WandaVision stuff, but they still want
to, we'll be saving till the end of the show, but it will be spoilerific.
If they just want to hang out with us until then, that's great. Well, let's start with the listener suggested items. The first up is from Super Sizemore on Twitter, Matt Size Mode, who knows that we stream every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and refuses to remember that until I remind him. But I see he just sent me a message. So he'll be here. He'll be here shortly. Yeah. He said, "Okay, join us soon."
Oh wait, is it Monday at 9? Are you guys streaming?
Oh, you're streaming right now? I sent him a message to remind him that we're streaming, but there's a reminder. I even updated a schedule on Twitch. Okay.
Hey, Size Mode. What time's the morning news on? Is it in the morning?
I call him every morning to remind him.
He's like, what's his question?
Okay, his what he wanted to bring up, and this is very, very low-hanging fruit as far as news goes, especially from a morning news jockey on KIVI in Idaho. But I don't know if you heard about this, Travis. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were on an interview with Oprah recently.
With the Oprah.
With the O.
So, okay, yeah. Is that the question, or are we just supposed to talk about this?
We're just supposed to talk about it. It's like news. You know?
Yeah. So
do you know anything about this?
No. I know Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
They like renounced their titles in the British royal family and moved to like California or something.
Yeah, sure, like Canada, and they're somewhere over here on
they're over here on the
North
American continent. And yeah, so they're not technically royalty anymore. They've like renounced that. I guess there's a huge part of and I understand this is like a cultural thing. We don't have a de facto royal family unless you count like the Kardashians, but like we in the United States don't have royals. And I guess like they're really obsessed about them in the UK, like in terms of paparazzi. And obviously this goes all the way back to Princess Diana and the struggles that she had with paparazzi and media coverage. But Meghan Markle has also had a really rough time with that.
An American.
And she's American, and all sorts of other problems. And so I think this interview was kind of getting at some of those problems with Oprah, who is the queen of talk, interviews and things like that.
The queen of talk.
The queen of talk.
Interviews.
Oprah Winfrey. But my question is,
Sure.
where was this presented? Is this
It was on like CBS, I think. Like
was
CBS
it?
CBS All Access, I think, or something like that.
I
don't know.
I want to bet dollars to donuts that this was a Paramount Plus exclusive. And
Yeah,
I'm
well,
about-
I said CBS. That's what CBS All Access used to be. It's now Paramount Plus. It's the same. It's the same.
Is it really? Is that really just a rebrand of CBS All Access?
Essentially, yeah.
I hate it even more now.
Because the Twilight Zone that just got canceled was going to Paramount Plus because it's essentially CBS All Access. It's just rebranding.
So it aired Sunday, March 7th.
Yeah, it's last night.
Yeah, that was last night on ITV Hub. What is this?
I think that's like the Home and Garden television.
Oh, it's on Apple TV Plus?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I guess
wait,
we could talk about
No. No. I don't know. I'm reading this for the first time. It's through CBS. So, I don't know. Here's the thing. I wasn't tracking it. I really don't have any connection or concern about royal family, anything
drama.
Yeah, I don't keep up with the Kardashians, so I don't.
When I was a kid,
sorry
Travis,
if they're if stuff sucks for them, I feel bad for you.
When I was a kid, before Diana died, my mom read all about Diana and was always fascinated with Princess Diana. Then Diana died, and then whatever. And then we fast forward to now. I was on a plane back from Europe, and I was sitting next to this very, very nice British couple, and they were she's very, very talkative, and she showed me pictures of her daughter, and she's like, "Do you think?"
Queen?
She was like, "Do you think we can? You think she's a good-looking girl?" I'm like. And she was, which is an awkward question because you're like, yes, she is attractive. Why are you trying to find out?
Can you give me an approximate age range in the individual in question here?
She was in her probably mid 50s. Her daughter was like 28 to 35.
Oh, okay. No, I was concerned about the daughter. That
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
trying to get you to say was
Yeah,
attractive.
if she was like 12,
ma'am, she's 7 years old. I refuse to comment on this.
she's like in like a toddler in a tiara. Do you think she could be a queen someday?
Only on Discovery Plus.
And
tiaras.
Anyway, but then they were talking about, because I was saying about the queen and the monarchy, and I didn't really fully understand the government there, whereas like the royals they have like no function other than to just be
They're
there.
like figureheads and yeah.
But they were talking about, and this is like a couple years ago, so Harry and Meghan Markle are already together, and they were just saying that they were like Henry was like disgracing the crown and stuff like that, and they were like these otherwise very, very nice older couple just being like saying Prince Harry's like his mother would be disappointed and stuff like that. Like, Jeez, what is so I didn't really know. I still don't really fully grasp it, but they are very very into the royal family.
Yeah, which
And
gets us into our next topic, which is Bridgerton on Netflix, which is
I'm not I'm
definitely
not, ta- I'm not talking about Bridgerton. The last thing I'll say. So they did say there were some royal family bombshells, and lots of people are like, times to dismantle the monarchy and all that type of stuff. But here's what I want to talk about real quick. I was at work today, physically at work today, and there
weird
was a
flex,
group.
but okay.
There was a group of five
Of
men,
royal family members.
no worse, five normal American ages 35 to 50 men talking about the interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Unironically, like one guy who retired a couple years ago was saying like, "Yeah, I was all night. I watched the whole thing." Like, I looked over at the admin person. I was like, "You're hearing this, right? You're hearing?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going home now." So really bringing middle-aged men together. The drama.
I don't fault them for it. If it's something they're interested in, by all means, keep up with your royals. But yeah, I don't know. There is an aspect to it where them exposing possible systemic issues with the royal family and all that stuff. Maybe stuff that needs to be discussed, but it's just, I don't know. It's not something I have my fingers on the pulse of, nor will I. And thus ends this segment of discussing. Oh no, we have more.
There's one thing. D Squeeze mentioned. Well, he's probably still getting that royal money. No, he is not getting that royal money. He renounced royalty, which means he doesn't get paid because being a royal is a job technically. So they get paid. He's living off of Princess Diana money that she left him in her will. He hasn't been paid from the royal family since the beginning of 2020. Just to give you an idea of that. Matt finally joins the chat. Some funny tweets he mentions. Oprah woke up a few days ago and said, "I'm bored. I guess I'll dismantle the English monarchy." Lol. I hope she
Classic
said.
Oprah.
I hope she said lol. Anyway,
Classic Oprah. What's next on our grab bag of topics from
that
from
concludes
our viewers?
Britain. Okay, the second one.
That's the English segment here on Apathetic Enthusiast.
The second one is from Dominic Cobb on Twitter, who is the only one who responded, vous plaît, to our tweet, asking us to talk a little bit about Apple TV. Now, I don't have Apple TV. Do you have Apple TV? And if so,
I do.
Can you talk a little bit about the programming? He mentions like that Tom Holland will have like 6 movies come out, stuff like that. Well, how do you feel about Apple TV? And I'll just say, like, compared to the other streaming television platforms out there.
So
original content.
I will say this for the sake of clarity. I'm assuming he's talking about Apple TV Plus, which is their streaming service available on Apple devices, to include an Apple TV, which is their set-top box, like a Roku or a Chromecast, those sorts of things, right?
Nobody cares. Just the TV stuff. Travis?
I care. So yeah, Apple TV Plus, it's been around for over a year now. It hit at just the right time pre-COVID, so they were able to capitalize on everybody being, safe at home and quarantining and things like that. However, I will say their intent of providing it for, I think, a year for free, anytime you buy a new device, they keep extending that, because I think that year was supposed to be up back in November, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna extend it to December, January." I still haven't paid for Apple TV Plus, and I still have it. So I don't know what the business model is for it, but in terms of the content, I don't think there's anything that I've watched on Apple TV Plus that I haven't liked or thought was good. I haven't watched that much stuff on it, but the morning show with
Jeff Daniels,
Jennifer Aniston, and Reese Witherspoon, and
Jeff Daniels,
Steve Carell,
Jim Carrey.
No. Yeah, that was a great show, terrific show. I watched Palmer with Justin Timberlake. It was a movie that recently came out on there. It's pretty good. Just watched the Billie Eilish documentary.
Was that the one where he bullies Britney Spears?
No, close. That's the New York Times docuseries, Free Britney. So yeah, I think it's good. I don't think all of the content that they've put out have been winners, but they have put out some really solid stuff. I just don't think they have a ton of content. I don't think they can go toe to toe with like Netflix or even HBO Max with the amount of content they have, but they have a lot of really good exclusive stuff that you can only get on the platform, which for me it's a bonus perk more than something I want to like rush out and go get a subscription for. It's like, hey, I own an Apple product. They gave me this streaming service for free for a year. I'm going to watch the stuff that I can watch because it's here. I'm not going to rush out to go get an Apple Plus subscription.
Yeah, I will never get an Apple Plus subscription. You know, the Twilight Zone didn't convince me to get a CBS All Access subscription. Certainly Apple TV Plus.
Are you sure you don't have Apple TV Plus though? Because when did you buy your last phone? I feel like it's been within the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I will not subscribe to it actively.
I think you have it passively and just don't know it.
Yeah, no, I bet you're right. But I'm not going to install it on my Roku TV, the one with the black line in the middle of the screen. Not going to do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You could just watch it on your really sick cell phone that you've got.
Ooh, can I? Maybe I'll load it up right now while we're talking about our next topic, which is Idaho mask burners. Over on the Capitol steps of Idaho, some people were burning their masks along with their kids. Really, that's all there is.
Hold on, phrasing. They were burning their masks along with their kids?
Yes.
Or people and their kids were burning their masks?
Both. Yeah. It was like a weird Lord of the Flies thing between the kids on the Capitol steps. Like I saw a video of there was a chubby kid with glasses at the bottom of the steps, and they pushed a boulder down and it crushed him.
They were like, "Sucks to your asthma. You can't breathe with that mask on." Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's 2021, guys. We are in like the second quarter, almost in the second quarter of spring, and we're still, or second quarter of the year, and and we're still like having this whole mask debate. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like if you're still struggling with masks, I don't know what we can say a year into COVID to convince you. So
I've got good news though, Travis. I saw a Facebook post from one of me and Matt's mutual friends from high school, where it's a clip of the CDC saying if you're fully vaccinated, you can hang out with other people without your mask.
With other fully vaccinated people.
Don't interrupt me. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is she said
out of the Zoom call, guys.
The point of the story is she then said, "What kind of bullshit is this? How can Americans be so stupid?" And then in the comments it went on to say, yeah, you might as well go ahead and get locked into trains like a bunch of Nazis, because how gullible are you to be controlled by a vaccine that the government is distributing? Boom. These are the mutual friends Matt and I have. Anyways, moving on subjects. I think that'll do it for today.
Let's talk about Tom and Jerry.
Let's talk about our main things. Let's talk about things that we can live with, whether we
wish
like.
we could live with.
That's right.
Animated characters in the real world.
Tom and Jerry. Yes, Tom and Jerry released just a little over a week ago on HBO Max and in theaters everywhere. For theaters that are open. It is a live action animated movie mix. So think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but without the mass enjoyment that movie brings.
Right. Yeah.
Now I watched I watched it at home, and I was looking forward to it. I saw the trailer and I thought, okay, I think that could be good. That bring that nostalgia back for Tom and Jerry. And I said, hey Chelsea, do you want to watch Tom and Jerry? She said, sure. And we started watching it.
Wait,
and
was the kid involved?
It didn't start with him, but then we're like, hey kid, come on in. We're gonna watch this.
Kid. We're putting on cartoons. Maybe you want to check this out.
We're gonna watch this. And so we started watching it, and it was. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it wasn't.
That's what you said to me.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
All right. I want to peel back the layers of this onion a little bit and start with what's your history with Tom and Jerry? Are you a traditional Tom and Jerry fan? Do you like the original like Hanna-Barbera cartoons of them?
I sure do.
Itchy and scratching themselves into oblivion.
I sure as hell do. Yeah, no, I loved Tom and Jerry. It was, I would say Tom and Jerry was a close second to Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Even more to like the Disney cartoons. I put them below Tom and Jerry.
Sure.
I put them below Snagglepuss generally. Disney is below Snagglepuss and any of like the sixth tier.
Now we're really dropping them from the call, guys.
No, but I love Tom and Jerry as a kid. What about you? Like, was it a mainstay in your?
It was very much a cartoon that I watched very often. I don't remember what the lineup was that resulted in me watching lots of Tom and Jerry, Huckleberry Hound,
Snagglepuss.
Not Snagglepuss. I watched Droopy the dog.
Yeah.
Snagglepuss. No.
Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy.
Yeah. What was it? Wacky Racers.
Yeah. Speed Racer.
And
Chim.
And then I watched a lot of like, Rocky and Bullwinkle and, like all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've watched a ton of Tom and Jerry. And
Herculoids. Would you watch the Herculoids?
I feel like that sounds familiar. I don't have a vivid memory of it.
Yeah, it's fine. It does
sound familiar.
There was like a Triceratops that like shot rocks out of its horn.
Okay. Yeah, no, probably not. Probably not for me. But yeah, like I like Tom and Jerry a lot. I would never be like, yeah, that was my thing. Like I was a big Tom and Jerry fan, but I enjoyed watching it as a kid, and it was one of those like Saturday morning cartoon type of things where it's just like, yeah, these are old classic cartoons. So when the movie came out, or they were announcing the movie, I was like, all right, that's like a weird vein of nostalgia for me, where I was like, yeah, I liked Tom and Jerry. I feel like animation and cartoons have sort of progressed a little bit past just cartoon animals beating each other up, but who knows? Maybe it's gonna be great. And then I saw the trailer where it was a blend of live action with animated, and I thought, okay, they gotta bake some sort of plot line through this whole thing. So we'll see how it goes. It's free on HBO Max. What have I got to lose? And then they went one step further, and my family got invited to a socially distanced birthday party where they rented out an entire theater at the movie theater, and like everybody like masks up, and like they're all in their different areas, and there's only like you can only have like 20 people in the theater. And so I was like, oh, we get to go to a movie. Like, I haven't been to a physical movie theater in over a year.
Yeah.
This will be fun. Let's see what this is like. And the movie that we went to see for this party was Tom and Jerry. So I saw it on the big screen, which I'm sure will have completely changed my opinion of the film instead of watching it, streaming at home. Probably not that much. But yeah, what were your overall thoughts as you entered into the journey that was, Thomas the cat and Jerry the mouse?
Jerry Mouse, Tom Cat. Yeah, Michael. Let's talk about the actors that are in this film. There's Jerry Mouse. there's Tom Cat.
Top billing
as themselves. Michael Pena. Yeah, that might be it. Oh, Colin Jost is in it.
Colin Jost, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes,
Moretz. I can't. I'm listening.
Yes, Chloe Grace Moretz. Yes, she is in it. She is basically the main human actor.
Yeah.
In the film. So. Man, I don't even know.
Ken Jeong's in it.
That's right.
That's right. He gets that special with Ken Jeong at the end of the billing there.
Let me tell you a little side story. My coworker friend of mine, Jose Perez, he was saying that he went and saw it in the theaters, and he was not excited to see it, but there's a Latin musician / singer who, before the movie came out, they were talking about this Latin actor or this Latin singer being in the movie, and he thought it was funny because they made a big deal of him actually being in this movie, but he's in it for half a scene, and he is Ken Jeong's assistant, and Ken Jeong hands him like a cake, and then he's off.
He's like an extra in the movie, basically.
Yeah. So they thought that was funny. I don't know where to start with it. I mean, I like Tom and Jerry action. I like that bit. I like the live action. I mentioned Roger Rabbit already. The live action cartoon mix of physical stuff with the cartoon. Michael Pena he's good in anything he's in. The other actors I thought were not great. Colin Jost is not meant to be anything other than a head writer for SNL.
Stick to reading the weekend updates. I don't know. I kind of liked Colin Jost. I mean, I wouldn't give him a 10 out of 10, but he was actually probably a bright spot for me at times.
As an actor, he's not an actor. Like,
sure.
I mean, if you accept him as just as Colin Jost doing a cameo in a movie as a joke, then I could accept that. Right?
Yeah.
Like as a wink and a nod to the audience, like, I'm taking a break from SNL to get paid a little bit extra money.
There you go. How did you feel about the animation itself? How did and the way that it was blended with the live action? How because there's, even though they are fundamentally like 2D characters, they try to maintain the look of the 2D characters. They are 3D in the modeling, so it's sort of like a little bit of a blend between a 3D version of these characters. But if you look at them like in a still, it almost looks like almost like the painted cells of like early animation.
I liked it. Please,
good job. All right, next question.
Please do more. Well, like I know some people were put off by that, I guess. That's kind of what I was expecting. Jerry danced with what's his face way back in the day, Fred Astaire, right?
Yeah.
Um, and you know, like, no, that's kind of what I expect from an animated film. Space Jam, those things were, you know, in the real world they were still 2D in the real world, right?
Original Space Jam, they were all 2D like throughout that movie.
Yeah.
And then the new leaked photos for the new Space Jam with LeBron
3D.
James looking 3D. Not sure how I feel about it. It's fine.
Look,
It's fine.
we're not going to talk about Lola Sexy on this show, are we?
There are other podcasts for that.
Okay.
No, that is not a topic of conversation, and frankly, I don't want to have that conversation. That's no, that's not what we're here for. What I am here for is talking about kids' movies from an adult perspective, right? Because ultimately, this movie is marketed more towards kids. I don't think it's intended to be like we're not the key demo, I think, for this movie. But with that said, we're parents. Most of the time when they make these movies, they are making it for kids, but also realizing the parents are going to be watching the movies with them. So there were plenty of times in this movie where I laughed, like genuinely laughed out loud. A lot of that was Michael Pena. Some other lines really got me, but I was in this theater with 15 other people, and there were a good number of kids that were cracking up, just side-splitting laughter at the hijinks of Tom and Jerry, and I thought, all right, they're digging it. I will say, as a person that's watched Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, Alvin and the Chipmunks 3 or whatever, like, some of those movies are like real bad, unwatchable, and I felt like I could at least sit through this movie and was like, all right, yeah, this is all right. There was like a weird thing that they did. Sorry for spoilers if everybody's really hyped about Tom and Jerry. But the whole like plot line with the wedding and the like Hollywood it couple that couldn't really communicate, and so they just threw this extravagant wedding when they weren't even sure they wanted to get married, and then quickly got married anyway because Tom and Jerry chased them through the streets of New York. That didn't feel like I wasn't along for that ride, but
it's because Colin Jost was one of the it couple. I'm saying he's not the best.
I think I had bigger issues than just Colin Jost.
His delivery of things like, what
did Michael Che put you up to this? Is this like a thing?
His chipmunk teeth, he's got his teeth. He's got like they hang down a little bit extra. His delivery it's just not good. I thought that was all a little forced, maybe just a bit cringy, as you would say, as the kids would say.
But the idea of all the animated animals, a lot of classic characters were back in this. There was some great hijinks.
I liked Animal Tornado. That was one of the highlights.
Yeah, we got a lot of that. A staple of that early, Hanna-Barbera magic.
It's an Animal Tornado.
Yeah.
The worst part about it, and you know what it is, and I think we talked about it on the post show last week of the podcast, is Tom wants to be a musician, a singer, a performer.
Yeah, it's why he's in town.
Why he's in town, and at some point in the middle of the movie, he gets in front of a piano and he starts playing the piano and he starts singing. Now, up until this point in time in the movie, they have not spoken anything. Tom has done some of his like, key like type things, but he has not spoken. And then he starts singing perfect intonation, pronunciation. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Why is this part here?
So I know it bothers you. It is very jarring in the film to see it, but I feel like somewhere deep down in my brain, somewhere, I don't know, in the back, there's a faint memory of Tom singing in early cartoons.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He at one point in time when he was wooing another cat, he was like, "Is you is oh is you ain't my baby."
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they should have just done that.
They
Because
should've
that's why he sings in the film, is to try and woo another cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but it was bad.
Yeah.
Overall, like, as you said, we're not the key demographic. I enjoyed it enough to say that kids would enjoy it. My kid enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As Chelsea and I have started fading out, he was watching it the entire time. I was also fixing one of my Switch controllers. So it was more.
That it? Okay. All right. Enough Tom and Jerry. It's available on HBO Max for the rest of the month if you want to check it out. How did your Switch controller go?
Oh, it works.
Let's not rush past that little bit of news.
It works like a glove. Like I put it on my hand.
Keeps it warm.
Yeah, my left Switch Joy-Con drifts. Right, it was drifting.
Classic. Everybody's does.
Everyone, like, just poor, shoddy craftsmanship on those Joy-Cons. Don't know what the deal is, but I for a couple weeks I went to Best Buy, I went to Target, and went to Walmart to buy another left Joy-Con, and they weren't anywhere. Everyone was sold out of them. And then I'd go on Amazon. I'm like, I don't want to pay $50 or whatever, $70 for a new set, or even just a left one. And then I saw, they on Amazon they sell replacement Joy-Con joysticks that you can, comes with instructions, all that type of stuff. So I had asked you if you'd ever done it before. You said that you didn't really have success with it.
Yeah, mine didn't work as well as you are making it sound like yours did. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So I ordered it. It was a 2-pack, and as Tom and Jerry was going on, it came with the screwdrivers and all those types of things. I took it apart, little tweezers, and to pull off the little data ribbon from the old plugger. I thought I'd screwed it up a couple different times where I'm like, oh no, I bent this ribbon, or I probably shorted out the circuit board. I put everything back together. Without all the screws, mind you, because just in case I had to get back in there, I don't want to unscrew everything again. Plugged it in, bing bang boom. Played some Ghosts and Goblins, and everything. It was just solid. No drift whatsoever.
That is fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
I'm still thinking about getting Ghosts and Goblins for my Switch Lite before I go on vacation. I'm just trying to decide whether or not I want to torture myself.
Well, yeah, I'm playing it on Legend, and as you're playing, you can get hit twice. You get hit once, your armor falls off, and then you're in your boxers, and you get hit again, then you die. And there's a lot of enemies, a lot of things you have to jump around, so you can't kill everything. So sometimes you have to be shooting at enemies as you're jumping over things that are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And when you're on Legend, there's 2 checkpoints in in a level. And those checkpoints are very, very spread out. You have after the second checkpoint, you fight a boss. The bosses are hard, but they're also the kind of a good breather away from the levels themselves, because the boss, you're just focusing on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Whereas these Grim Reapers are chasing after you all over the place during the actual course of the level. But that's as you're on Legend difficulty, you keep dying, and then it asks you, well, do you want to lower the difficulty level? If you do that, which I've done plenty of times, then what it does is there's less enemies on the screen that come at you. There's still only those 2 checkpoints.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is hard. But if you go down to like the lower difficulty levels, basically that increases your hit points. So it's not just a 2-hit kill. There's more checkpoints throughout the levels, I believe.
You got more chances to mess up.
Yes, exactly. So if you want,
have a good day face. Just subscribe. Thanks for the sub.
oh, thanks. Have a goo.
Have a
goo.
Have a goo.
I don't know if he meant to do that, but thank you.
Thank you. All right, and on that note, because of the subscription, we will get into our final and most important topic of this episode, and that is, of course, the Disney Plus hit streaming show from Marvel Studios, WandaVision. Just completed its final episode. This will be a all bets are off, no holds barred, spoilerific review of the events of the last 9 episodes. So if you have not watched WandaVision 1, get out and do it. Just watch the show. Just get out. Yeah, we are going to spoil stuff. If you do not want to be spoiled, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Otherwise, come back, in 20 minutes for the post show if you're watching the stream. And I'm sure we'll be done talking about most of it right now. But Brandon, how the heck did you feel? I feel like this is a first time conversation for us, because with what was happening Friday and your schedule and my schedule, that I watched it I think later than you did, and by the time I watched it, I was like, "Hey, what'd you think?" And then you didn't respond right away, and then I went to sleep, and we didn't really talk about the show. What were your thoughts about this finale?
Yeah, I watched Coming to America for the first time this weekend. It was pretty good. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't remember why we didn't talk about WandaVision all that much. But going into it, there was just tons of articles about this theory or that theory. You go to comicbook.com, they have some out there theory. Screen Rant, you have some far out there theory. Inverse, yeah, I'm calling out all the sites,
all the straws that were grasped at.
All those sites are frustrating because they latch onto a fan theory as if it's legitimate news, and then they push it off there. I want to bitch about something else while I'm on the topic of clickbaity sites. There's a site, Geekopedia or Geek Media or something like that, whatever. Thursday night before WandaVision, they released an article that said that there's full disclosure, I don't know if it's true or not. It was a scoop that they had, right? That the X-Men are going to be introduced into the Marvel universe in a movie called The Mutants, and only one site was reporting this, but it was trending on Twitter. And so I tweeted, and I looked everywhere else to see if there's any cross reference, if anybody else had this scoop or was picking up on it. And comicbook.com, they were referencing that site. This other site was referencing that site as legitimate news. And I was just like, not that I'm saying it's false, but it's kind of fishy to me that a site I'd never heard of before is all of a sudden right on the eve of the WandaVision finale is trying to release this. Is very suspect. So I wanted to say, if it's true, good on them for the scoop.
Yeah, congrats on the exclusive, but we'll wait and see. I would go back in their archives and be like, "Oh, we have guaranteed proof that Mephisto is the big bad in WandaVision," or any other number of things that. Yeah, that is very frustrating. And there are some sites out there that put out good info. They give great details on backgrounds and comic history for new characters that have been introduced throughout the series. So a lot of people doing great work out there. If that site came across some exclusive news, but like between Disney and Marvel Studios now, like they have so much writing on all of this. They have so much like so many levels of protection to when stuff is released and trying to avoid certain spoilers coming out, unless it's Thor Love and Thunder set videos or set pictures, which seem to come out like 3 times a week for some reason on my social media feed. So if you want to see Melissa McCarthy playing Helena or whatever, you can. So but yeah, so the show itself, some big reveals in the finale. Obviously we saw White Vision in episode 8 be sort of teased. He has entered the Hex in this episode, and the episode starts off like immediately into action. Right where episode 8 leaves off, you've got Agatha, she's got Wanda's kids basically held hostage. Huge fight between them. All of a sudden, Vision shows up. White Vision. They start to clash, and I thought the action sequences were pretty terrific. I think for the most part they felt to scale with what we'd see in like an MCU movie. For the most part, I don't know. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked that it was it ended a self-contained story. It did have some ancillary characters that from Thor and Ant-Man and Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And that it started with Wanda and it ended with Wanda, and it was all her story. It was all her arc. What I really liked about it, I saw somebody refer to it as like, whereas the movies are like these big spectacles and introducing new characters and all that type of stuff, the show took a main character who we didn't know much about and basically fleshed her out into an important character in the MCU. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Whereas like with Iron Man or Captain America, we got multiple movies focused around these characters before we got like our first Avengers movie. Wanda has always been, I mean, she's been around since Age of Ultron, but she's always sort of been on the fringes. We don't really dig into even I would say like in Infinity War, her relationship with Vision and the fact that they're kind of like in hiding together, like a lot of that doesn't feel as deep or meaningful to me, because I feel like there hasn't been time within the films to really explore that. So this was a good opportunity to kind of dig into what that relationship really was like.
Yeah. It was Age of Ultron, and then they're living together, and then they're lovers. I was like, it was kind of like,
let's check back in with Wanda and Vision. Oh, now they're hiding.
They're a couple.
Like, oh, hey, okay. They were cooking in the Avengers kitchen, and now they're undying love for each other. Like, yeah,
and now she has a entire city locked under a spell.
Classic. Everybody saw it coming. The writing was on. The runes were on the wall all along.
The runes are on the wall. Yeah.
I do thank this show for really developing Wanda and presenting the Scarlet Witch into the MCU officially, and really giving the character their day in the sun, so to speak, because we talk about it in fan circles for often about how powerful Wanda is. The fact that she nearly took out Thanos on her own in Endgame, like clearly she's powerful. Knowing her comic background and what the Scarlet Witch is capable of in House of M and all the comics, we expect big things, but we never really saw that fully in the MCU. So that was great. And along with it, I feel like Vision, I was so hyped for Vision in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And I feel like Vision has always just gotten like not the screen time, not the real like fully presenting his potential as Vision in the movies before he's taken out by Thanos. And it's just I feel like even though it was like a created version of Vision or whatever, like this, it was good to see Vision do his thing in these episodes.
Yeah, it was Age of Ultron as his debut. He's a badass. He stands toe to toe with Ultron, right? And then Infinity War, Civil War. He's fighting and then gets taken out right away.
Yeah.
Basically making not warmonger, but Rhodey paralyzed. War Machine, yeah, thank you. And then Infinity War, he gets stabbed in the back, and all of a sudden, oh no, now all his powers are gone. So it was good to see him in this finale, him actually being able to use those powers again against his ultimate foe. And I was talking to Homar earlier today, and what we both really liked about it was Vision's fight with White Vision was action packed, but then it went to kind of the core of Vision, which is he is really intelligent AI, and it went more into philosophy realm, a war of thought rather than head beam and phasing through each other with the whole ship of Theseus discussion.
I absolutely love that conversation and the realization by White Vision on who he was, the fact that the WandaVision vision was able to unlock those memories for him, and who knows where that character will turn up or what sort of potential, but it sounds like they're able to like still have Vision around in some way, shape, or form, even without the Mind Stone. So I think that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking forward to Monica Rambeau or whatever spectrum of hero she ends up on. I think it was cool what we saw of her powers, just a glimpse. I don't know that will result in like a feature film for that character, but I could definitely see her involved heavily in other ensemble casts where we have lots of heroes all fighting together. So that should be good.
Yeah. Fighting them Skrulls, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think we'll see the return of Agatha at any point?
I think so, based off of what little I know about the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
She proclaims at the end that that Wanda is going to need her help eventually.
Yeah.
I think that is an indicator that she will be back.
Wanda's keeping her safe for when she needs her, right?
And Catherine Hahn wants to play that character more, and I'm fine. And I'm fine with that.
She's just great. She was so great in that entire series. So hopefully we get more.
You know who's great in the entire series is Ralph Boner. he's
that's who I was gonna segue to is the boner in the room.
yeah.
Evan Peters, the X-Men, Fox X-Men films Quicksilver, that was the huge like revelation in WandaVision. Oh my gosh, they've done it. They've crossed over the MCU with the Fox X-Men characters. How are they going to do it? Maybe the multiverse is splitting. What is happening? They've pulled someone over. And then we find out that Agatha is just controlling some boner and making them look like Pietro and somehow giving him his powers. But it's just like a dude. He's just playing a dude from Westview. How did you feel about that? Because I know a lot of fans were angry about it, and I'm not super happy about it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, here there's two thoughts that I have. One is that it's a misdirect still,
Okay.
and two, that it's not a misdirect. That they're just trolling the audience based off of fan expectation.
Sure.
But that
it's our story train episode.
yes, yeah. Well, I want to get in, maybe not this so much, but I'll go back to the fan theory stuff in a second. But if it's a misdirect, let's talk about that. One, he still has super speed.
Does he
Agatha
have it inherently, or did Agatha create that?
Well, Agatha wasn't shown to give anybody else any powers like that.
Okay.
Also, you see his headshot in this world, that in the hex that Wanda's created. You see that the Ralph Boner headshot in this created world of Wanda's. So this is not a real world still, like we don't see what happens to him.
That's a fair point. I hadn't considered that.
We don't see what happens after the hex is gone to that character. So, and then the Jimmy Woo thing, like he was going to, this is a fan theory, like, oh well, we still don't know who he was going in to talk to about witness protection, stuff like that. So it very well could be a misdirect.
Yeah.
Now, I'm okay with that if it ends up being that way. What I'm not okay with is them casting that actor just to subvert fan expectations.
Yeah.
Willingly, because they, for them to do it like that, they have to know that they're bringing in the X-Men to the Marvel universe. And by picking that actor to play Quicksilver, they are intentionally being like, look at this. Look at what we're doing. We're making you ask questions and making you think about things. And then for them to say, just kidding, he has nothing to do with anything whatsoever. You've been barking up the wrong tree. I don't know why you ever would think we were doing that. That's kind of insulting, I think.
Yeah, there's some articles that have come out today talking about how the casting of the recast Pietro was a last minute thing. The production team wrestled with the decision for a long time. They thought it would be a cool and neat way to cross over some franchises, but the way that it played out, if this is where it ends, I feel like that's kind of a letdown. I hope they can spin it into some sort of introduction into X-Men still within the MCU. The fact that, and this is a little bit of a retcon, I feel like, from earlier like Age of Ultron movies, the idea that Wanda has had her powers all along, and that their experience with I forget even what it was. It the
Mind Stone?
Yeah, that's right. They just unlocked her powers, right? And so So she's always been the Scarlet Witch, right? But it was the experimentation and experience that unlocked that ability, right? That the idea that they didn't get she didn't get her powers from the Mind Stone, but they were sort of presented through that process. That to me feels like a little bit of a way of starting to hint at mutants and X-Men within the MCU. If people have these powers sort of dormant within them, that to me feels like an X-Men storyline just waiting to pop out.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone is in agreement with that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about like fan theories, just a little bit.
Okay.
Because go and talking about, like, oh, there's that fly that's the first time we ever saw Mephisto in the comics, or her kids in the comics, they are pieces of Mephisto's soul, and when they come together, then Mephisto is reformed in the comics. So they're like, oh, that means Mephisto is going to come out. I guess like she gets some of her powers from this demon called Chthon in the comics as well. So that people thought that Chthon was going to show up. They thought that this character Nightmare would show up. They thought Doctor Strange would make a cameo. They thought that Reed Richards, because Fantastic Four are going to come out in phase whatever, they're going, he's going to make an appearance. Also, Agatha Harkness is like a nanny for the Reed Richards's the Richards' kid later on down the road in the comics. So all these fan theories, and a lot of people then upset that none of it happened, right? So when we talk about the story train stuff, that's exactly the same thing, right? Like it is not. I saw people on Twitter being like, they teased all these things and then none of it happened, and people saying, well, they didn't tease that. That's something that you read into, and
then extrapolated, and you're like, well, this is what happened in the comics, so that's probably what they're gonna do here. I feel like anybody that comes up with those fan theories though hasn't been following the MCU for the last decade. Like,
yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Rick and Morty, the story train. It's just go out with a ride, hang out on the ride. We're gonna get you to a destination, and you're gonna enjoy it when you get there. But you're not conducting the train. We're conducting the train, and we're gonna tell the stories that we want to tell. And if you trust us, then you're going to enjoy the outcome.
At this point, we need to realize that the MCU is taking inspiration from a bunch of great comic lore to make some really great movies and now television. But the expectation that they are just going to print what's on the page in movie form, we need to, as a fan base, we need to get past that, because they're doing something different. And on one hand, it's great because they can retell these stories and rewrite some of this like mythology to fit within the constraints that they've made for themselves in the MCU. And it can be fresh, it can be different than what you've already read in the comics. So it's not like just let me remake House of M and just do what you already know on TV. How about I tell a new story and I tell it a little bit differently, and we throw a few different spins and twists in there, and a really cool new Scarlet Witch outfit, and then we go and we use this as a springboard into another series, more movies, and it's all going to tie together, but maybe not exactly how it did in the comics. And I think that's cool.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about WandaVision is at the end of Infinity War, at Endgame, I watched Spider-Man Far From Home. I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with the MCU for now, right? Black Widow, let's move forward. I guess I wasn't excited about the movies anymore. And what WandaVision did for me was it gave me some content, some good content, some different content that made me excited about what is going to happen coming up, right?
Yes.
I don't know anything about Shang-Chi, but like, okay, it has to tie into this somehow. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, all those things starting to come together. I'm
ready.
I'm in.
I'm excited.
I'm in for it.
I'm ready for 2 weeks from now when we get some Falcon and Winter Soldier
right.
action.
The 19th.
It's the year of Marvel on Disney Plus and in a theater near you. Overall, great series. I expect myself to probably rewatch the whole thing. Currently, I'm in a little bit of a binge session watching the first 2 Captain America movies, Civil War, and I think there's another one I'm gonna watch before Falcon and Winter Soldier come out. But yeah, wanna get spun up on some of those before we get good old Sergeant Barnes back in action.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, are they gonna like fight over the title of Captain America? Like, are they gonna try and pass it off to each other? I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I am curious, but
I don't know. But there's gonna fight old Daniel Bruhl for I'll keep wanting to say Taskmaster, but he's not.
no,
not Count. Shit, I forget that villain's name.
We're fake fans.
The purple mask guy from Civil War.
Yep.
Yeah. You know the one. You're gonna say it.
Yep. Zemo.
Baron Zemo. There you go.
Baron Zemo. There it is. There it is.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay. I know we want to talk about this stuff more, but we gotta finish up the podcast side of this house.
That's what we have post shows for. That's why that's what the show after the show is for. So if you want to catch all the rest of our thoughts and a whole lot more, then make sure that you're tuning in on Monday nights 9 p.m. Eastern over at twitch.tv/apathetic enthusiasm. If you're busy on Mondays, we understand. We appreciate you guys listening, appreciate you downloading. There is a way that you can help support the podcast with just a few clicks on your phone. You can rate or review this podcast on whatever podcatcher you so choose. If that's Apple Podcasts, we appreciate it. And share it. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy listening, let somebody else know about the show and bring them along for this discussion about all the weird things that we choose to talk about. We are going to head over right now into that post show. So if you are watching live on the stream, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And until next time, whenever that time may be,
whatever it is,
from whatever state or place in the world we'll be podcasting from, I'm Travis.
And I am Brandon. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye.